Hello and welcome to today's live stream.
Live stream.
Well, goddamn. Okay, sorry. I've got the thing pulled up. I'm about to go live. Just to let you guys know about what we're talking about. We are talking about secular parenting versus Christian parenting. We have a few stories today to shed light on the differences between the two. So please stay tuned for here in just a second. Trying to figure out this whole Facebook Live thing. Let's do it. Hello, everybody. I am glad that you guys are here to join me today on this lovely Thursday. Today is the last day today is the last school day for my son. It's his last day of kindergarten. We got his his report card, and he's doing fantastic. He's got they grade on a scale of 1 to 3, and he's got 3s in all categories. So he's doing pretty good, So that's really great. I love my son so much, and I know that you guys, if you are out there, you love your children as well. But here's a question: as far as the differences between secular parenting and Christian parenting, do you love them enough to tell them that they're going to be burning in hell forever? Well, if you're secular, of course you're not. That's dumb as fuck. But that's not what one Christian podcast type people were telling their listeners. Sorry. It says, quote, when my daughter Amy was still less than 2 years old, I started teaching practical theology to her. I used to put her in my lap. In fact, I think she was still less than a year old. I used to have her in my lap, and she'd be all cute and cuddly, Normally, if you're a parent, you take this as like a moment to really reflect on your child and how much you love your child and how much, you want to protect your child from all the wickedness and shit in the world, right? That's what a normal fucking person would want to do at that point. What does this guy tell you to do, though? He says, I'd look down at her and I'd say, you know what? You're a wicked sinner. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. You're a wicked sinner. I was just trying to make sure she understood from the beginning her depraved nature. Now, I don't know about you guys, but that's really fuckered, isn't it? I mean, it's pretty fuckered for somebody to sit there and look at their child and be like, "Oh, you're such a wicked, depraved sinner. You're gonna burn in hell." I mean, how fucked up is that? Like, as a parent, what's up there, Matt? It's great to see you this morning. But I mean, if you really think about it, it's pretty fucked up. And these are the Family Life Today. It's a popular Christian radio program. He thinks that he's advocating for you to emotionally abuse your child like this, and it's just fucking ridiculous. I mean, how can you really say that you have like the moral upper hand, or that atheists or secularists get their morals from the Christian worldview, when it seems like the Christian worldview wants to emotionally abuse their young? And you know what? If you think about the Bible and what it says in the Bible, it really makes sense as far as, the Bible being emotionally abusive in and of itself. It starts off from the beginning emotionally abusing women by telling them they're to blame for all of the horrible shit in the world that has happened. Now, but let's move on. Now, what would you say you should do if maybe your daughter gets raped? Okay, well, that's easy to tell, right? It's pretty easy to sit there and say, yeah, I would console my daughter, and we would make sure that the guy gets put in jail so that he couldn't do this to anybody else again. Yeah, I mean that's reasonable, right? I mean, it's reasonable to think that, that a rapist should be in jail. What would be the last thing, though, on your mind? I don't know about you guys, but to me, the last thing that would be on my mind is making the rapist marry my daughter. I don't think that I would want the rapist that impregnated my daughter to marry her. I don't know if you guys have seen it on the page, but this particular story got a lot of comments, and I just find it pretty awful that this shit kind of occurs. Like, so far they haven't said that their reasoning is religious, but I mean, come the fuck on. Really? You're not going to sit there and tell me that this isn't religious thinking. I mean, even if they're not directly using religion as an excuse, I mean, this has roots in Christianity, because in Christianity it tells you that if you rape a woman, then you have to marry her. It's right out the fucking book. But I think that the slew of Christian parenting stories that have come out recently is just ridiculous. I don't know if you guys remember the Pearls, but they had that To Train Up a Child book, and apparently with the To Train Up a Child series, you need to take like a plastic stick, basically, and you got to beat your child into submission. Michael Pearl, he actually suggested that you could get a kid to submit to you in just a few days by beating the shit out of them with the fucking rod and stuff. And I would really, if I saw that happening, you would have to pull me off that motherfucker before I killed him. Because even if the kid's not my kid, I'm not just going to stand by and let some motherfucker beat a child with a fucking plastic rod. I don't care what your religious faith is. That's abuse. Now, this guy right here, a Christian father shackles his daughter for wetting the bed. Okay, if my son wets the bed, I'm going to think, okay, well, what can I change to make sure this doesn't happen? Let's see. No more water right before bed. Try to remind him to go to the restroom. Never in my fucking life would shackling my daughter to the basement, giving her a bucket with ammonia in it to piss and shit in, and then feeding her spoiled food from the table. That has never crossed my fucking mind. I don't think that it would cross anybody's mind that's actually thinking clearly. But this guy right here says, if you look in the middle of the page there, which I don't know if you guys can really see it. I doubt you can unless it's all blown up on the screen. Let's see if I can get this pulled up right here. There are a lot of questions. I miss my babies with all my heart. I want to do them right. Okay, so I guess that's why you shackled the one up in the basement, right? I mean, that's because you miss her and you just want to do them right. Sure. Okay. The way they were raised, if they have questions, all they have to do is open the Bible and they will have all the answers. Well, fuck me. I forgot, like, in the Bible where Jesus explicitly says, "Thou shalt chain up daughter in the basement for pissing the bed." The daughter was 13. I gotta wonder why she's pissing the bed. Or if it's even piss. Maybe the daughter's coming into her sexual puberty and whatnot. Maybe she's diddling the mouse up there, and maybe she's a squirter. I mean, I don't like thinking about that with because she's 13 or whatnot. But I'm just trying to think of different things that it could be. Like, why is she peeing the bed? If she actually is peeing the bed, that's one of those indications of being molested and whatnot, is pissing the bed. Maybe the father's pissing the bed. We have no idea. But apparently his solution is to chain her up in the basement. Honestly, I felt like this particular story on the progressive secular humanist here, I really felt that it was going to end up saying that the father and the son that were arrested for chaining her up took turns sexually abusing her while she was chained up in the basement. And I mean, I'm glad that didn't happen, but what the fuck ever with this person. But as far as being a secular parent goes, what I try to do is I try not to involve religion in my son's life. I try not to influence his perception of it, although with my perception being what it is obviously going to influence him how I feel about things. All I can do is try to control that the best I can. And that's what I do. I don't try to push any kind of position on him. I try to let him make his own decisions, although he is only 6, so a lot of his decisions mirror mine at the moment. And while it flatters me, at the same time, I don't want him to just have my opinions. I want him to form his own opinions. And so that's why I choose not to push. Like, I choose not to push any kind of religious position on my son. I try not to, I really try to let him come into his own and just let me be there beside him and try to guide him through it and answer his questions honestly and just basically support him. That's what I want to do. And I find it incredibly odd how me as a militant atheist, if you will, I seem to, even though I'm quote unquote morally depraved or I have no moral foundation as the religious right, a lot of the religious right would say, I find it utterly hilarious that I seem to be doing a lot better than some of the Christians out there, with a lot of the Christians emotionally abusing their children, sometimes to the point of being, suicidal. I just find it utterly hilarious that these people are trying to take the high road when you have people out there like this motherfucker who uses the Bible in order to justify chaining his daughter up in the basement, or using the Bible to justify any of the horrible shit that's in the Bible. It's like, okay, just because I have a manual that says that I need to toss my son out of a moving vehicle because he smarted off at me doesn't mean that I actually should do that if I want to be a good parent. But let's see. I was gonna check on. Let's see. Juan Briones Jr. says, and telling children that they are so awful that a man had to die in order to make up for their wickedness. Yeah, that's yeah, I would definitely say that that's one of those things that would accompany the emotional abuse. Now, not every religious parent out there is emotionally abusive or whatnot. They take the more loving route of the Bible, which I would argue isn't a true representation of the Bible or what's contained in the Bible or what the Bible teaches. I'm not going to sit here and tell them that they're wrong for teaching their child that. I do believe that the Christian parents out there that do that are going to end up with kids that are turning atheists, because if they hide things that are in the Bible from their children, then when they find out later, they're just going to be like, hey, Dad, the fuck is this? It says when I smarted off to you in like the 3rd grade, you should have killed my ass. The fuck's up with that, Dad? So, but anyways, I appreciate you guys joining me today. I have to get to work, and I know that a lot of you guys are either at work or are going to be at work soon. I hope you guys have a wonderful Thursday. Tomorrow is Friday, and I can't wait to do another live stream tomorrow. We're probably going to be looking at some absurd Bible passages. So please do set your clocks for 8 a.m. Central Time tomorrow, because that's when I will be streaming live again. I'll see you guys later. Have a wonderful Thursday. Awkward moments. Awkward moments. All right, this part right here is exclusively for YouTube. I'm going to be putting this up on YouTube here in just a minute, but I would like to just sort of espouse some more ideas about secular parenting. Earlier I said that as a militant atheist, I don't try to push any kind of religious position on my son, or anti-religious position rather. And I think that as a parent, as far as the faith aspect goes to this stuff, I really think that supporting your children is the most important thing. I think that supporting your child as they come into their faith or non-faith is very important. I don't think that if you have a child that ends up wanting to be religious or ends up finding Jesus or whatnot, I really do not suggest abandoning that child or not supporting that child's decision. That doesn't mean that you do not need to that you don't need to argue with them or counter their position or anything like that. I definitely think that you do, but supporting them and making their own decision, I think, is more important than actually refuting whatever they say. So if you do have a child that ends up being religious or is already religious and whatnot, the best advice I can give you other parents out there is just support them. I know it may be hard, especially if you're as militant as I am in your atheism, which all that just means is that we're a little bit loudmouthed, I guess, and we're not afraid to actually espouse our ideas that are counter to the Christian majority. But just support your child, and that is the best thing that you can do. And if they start doubting, if they start questioning, be there for your child. Who better to answer some questions or give new perspective than a parent to their child? That's all I gotta say. I hope that you guys will have a wonderful, wonderful day today, and I will see you later.